And it's like, I don't know how that really works with that uh, mental health trust land, and they're doing some big exchange in the news with the Forest Service, and like, all the stipulations with Forest Service leases with like the glacier companies and the different rafting companies, and I don't want to get into trying to micromanage their way of operating their businesses or whatever, but uh, it's almost an abuse of the system to be like coming up with this line with a 10,000 additional $10,000 bond that needs to be put up, and the $500 application process non-refundable, and making someone pay it all up in front. I think, you know what I mean? Contrast that to what we had potentially as a deal with the Teton Fairgrounds down there in Wyoming, and they were gonna send us something every month, so we pay them after we were done with the month, and that was a much better partnership. So why? And I think it's okay to ask those questions and sort of challenge that system a little bit. I don't want to get caught up in trying to battle with them for that location, because the hard reality is, like I said on the phone, probably somewhere else is a better spot, and it's just a little bit too. If you're trying to walk elderly people, it's a long ways. Now, going over to Eaglecrest or some of the space here or there, the other thing, uh, you have to get into the transportation costs, etc. So, that might not be the best thing either. Uh, Trying to find a different partner, it really makes me think, though, reflecting hard on it is, and it makes me think of like years ago, I went in and outlined a good program for the Alaska Native Heritage Center in Anchorage for the sled dog rides, and they took it and they implemented it, and they, without me, even though I designed it for them to do it with me. So here, you know, I don't want to do sled dog rides. Honestly, the lumberjack show. But I look at like up in Fairbanks, they have the Native Alaskan Olympics or whatever sports. Can you blend that creatively with some sort of a ninja type marketing angle for a course, and have someone from some Native organization put something like that in? Uh, they would run into the same issues I have at that location. But the reality is, what are they trying to do? They're trying to sell it to a hotel or some condos. I don't know. Uh, but, you know, that would work well there. I wouldn't be the person to run that, but for the one dog class, I would be the person to run it, I think, and or at least get it going. And you know, it's funny because they ended up having like John Baker do the up there in Anchorage do the sled dog tour thing that I had come up and I designed. I went into the board of directors and gave them the plan and everything, and at the Alaska Native Heritage Center, there's so many people white on their board of directors, so I have a real bad taste in my mouth trying to work with uh, some of these groups, whether it's a Native corporation or in Alaska, whether it's nonprofit. They're very clicky, and it's all about economics. They don't have pattern driven programs. I think just looking statewide, the value set like the that you even have that you'll find down there some places like Jackson where there's more of a country, or at least dealing with people at the rodeo, there's more of a country value system. You definitely get some of that sort of corruption in that big city, and that all about the money type thing. I think up here, and you know, but just sort of observing the trying to do at least with that land. Maybe a better option for that location would be some sort of a you know native Olympic type thing. I think that would really go well. Uh, and basically, the reason I would suggest that is because I don't have the money to do the one dog class thing there. Now, the one dog class thing might be better up by like Denali or something like that. I don't know. Uh, it's just the moment where it's a little disappointing because I obviously had some energy and hopes, and I still think it would work there. But I just think for the amount of money that they're suggesting, and a month timeline, the amount of money, it's just, and they're adding the security bond. My car's probably worth 10,000. I guess what I got it for a year or two ago, but it's either you want to do business or you don't want to do business. And the hard thing is when you're dealing with something like an organization like I am with that land, maybe it's just the individual. You know what I mean? Maybe that I am not appealing to that individual because I'm a guy, because I get like slicked back here, or I have an idea. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or my background, like I said, my name, same sort of thing I run into with like trying to deal with like getting insurance for a business, that sort of thing. So, uh, all of those factors weighing in, I just think there has to be something to be improved upon that process because like right now, if they're not leasing that to anyone, you know, a deal structured on a 2 week at a time basis for the summer, you know what I mean? We're not talking about putting in any permanent structures. We could begin trying to make money. We could begin testing our business idea. We could begin giving them. They would begin making profit from that. You know, if it was for 2 weeks, at the end of 2 weeks, we owed them $2,500, and forget about your $500 application fee, you know, and all that. They've got an idea what we're trying to do. We told them exactly what we're trying to do. We're on the ground. We're running. We're trying to do something here. We're not, you know, there's a lot of social purpose. There's a lot of good things connected towards our entrepreneurship. That's more than just having some construction guys dump a couple trucks there when they're not working on them. You know what I mean? So it's just to me, it's almost an abuse of the system not to not structure that better for an entrepreneur like myself. You know what I mean? I think and to not have a better process there because trying to get 15,000 or then say it's going to take a month and another $10,000 they're basically saying that they don't want to do business with that location. Now they personally probably are not making a gain. If that was someone's personal land there and they would be doing business with it, you see. But the people who are working in the bureaucracy in Anchorage or whatever, they aren't making it's not their land. They personally are being paid a salary. They're not gaining from it. So you know what I mean? They're not going to gain from that sale. They're not going to gain from that lease personally as individuals. So there's a much more of an incentive to try to deal with private land, to try to deal with someone in Eagle Crest or Tallinn Lake Lodge up by Denali, or someone who's got some infrastructure and got a location, and who might just want to be making extra money every day because they're already up and running, they're already doing something. All of a sudden, they're going to begin, making some money. Like again, the Forest Service people, when you're going in there talking to a Forest Service person, or when you're going in and talking to someone at the mental health trust land or this, that, the other thing, the people who you're talking to won't benefit economically from the deal that you're bringing to the table. They're just paper pushers, and this is the hard truth. So if you go in there and talk to someone who owns a lodge about doing a deal with them, but that person who owns the lodge will economically benefit from that deal, they're going to be a lot more interested in talking about it. And the same thing with, if it was a ski resort or something else. But if you run into a thing where it's a real corporate, and it's really, it's something where the people you're dealing with won't economically benefit, the process you run into is inefficient, I think. And but I do think, just the biggest observation is, why isn't there more of a willingness to work with an entrepreneur? Why isn't there more of a system here in Alaska, specifically in the capital, to encourage and support an entrepreneur, especially when someone who's got a really good idea, I think I do, a winning idea, something with a lot of social purpose, etc. So those are some, there's no ecosystem here really. You know what I mean? And additionally, it really gets into, you read about, somewhere I was reading about how the mental health trust land in Alaska and the Forest Service is doing some sort of big land swap to begin logging and generating all this money and stuff for land somewhere. So it's just sort of interesting to me. It's like, if we're not going to cut a deal for me like here, and we're doing some big deal like that, well, what exactly is going on with their big deal there? And you know what I mean? I mean, who's providing oversight to that? So we're not going to do this, but we're doing some huge land swap with millions of acres from the land trust to the Forest Service, and then they're going to log it, and there's no oversight, no conversation about that. But they're going to really put the brakes on someone trying to do something with good social purpose here. These are the same organizations, and there's probably something flawed in there with what they're doing. They're making all kinds of money by doing something else. You know what I mean? I don't know.